But yes, that's it.
Ding dong, ding ding.
Hi, hello, it's your boy Nate. I read books because reading is sexy, and if you're not reading, you're not sexy. Tagged by the lovely Kieran from Kieran Reader, the New York Book Tag from Jim's Books, Reading, and Stuff. New York. Let's do this. Number 1. What is your favorite book set in or around New York? It has to be Hanya Yanagihara's A Little Life. I know how some people may feel about this, divisive, but I don't know. There's this timeless quality to it. Struggles. It's a New York novel. It's beautiful. There's a timeless quality to it. There are no phones. There's no mention of like cultural mnemonics that make it New York, but also, and I don't know, it just really grapples with the very identity of who you are, where you come from, and how are you making a name for yourself amongst your peers, amongst others, and yeah, live and tried life. I remember I read this like years ago. Yeah, wrecked me, as I'm sure it has wrecked many lives. But A Little Life, New York, just every time I think of New York and literature, A Little Life, which I think is troublesome because I should probably read more books set in New York. Number 2, New York is famous for its skyscrapers. What is the highest building you have been up? In New York, highest building? This is probably embarrassing, but the Whitney? What is it? There's a terrace at the Whitney, and that I think was like my highest vantage point of New York ever. Not very big on cultural landmarks, places of tourism. I saw the Statue of Liberty like by mistake in passing. Same with Times Square. I just have no interest. Yeah, I have a very specific curated list of places I want to go to, and the Whitney was one of them, and that was my highest vantage point of the city. It was great. I think I have a film photo here. I'll have it here. Okay, number 3, New York, New York. So good they named it twice. What is the last book you reread? Reread The Secret History by Donna Tartt because there was that cute little book talk with all our favorite booktube thotties. Jalen from Bar in the Bookcase. Yeah, fun reread. We'll say, didn't like it as much as the first time around. Is it still the greatest campus novel? Yes. Dark academia, heavily rooted. And yeah, a lot more melodramatic second time reading it, but definitely a book to read before you enter college. Fun stuff, good stuff. Number 4, American Psycho was a disturbing novel set in New York. What is the most disturbing book you have read? Ooh, it's gonna be Kieran's answer, but The Sluts by Dennis Cooper. Just a lot. The whole book is a collection of reviews of this gay escort and plays with narrative, the unreliable narrator, and a form function of the novel, as well as, yeah, what happens when all the narrators within the story are unreliable. What happens when every single person is unreliable? What do you do? Who do you trust? What kind of novel is that? How do you leave from it knowing what you know and what to trust and your trust and knowledge? Phenomenal book. It was in my top 10 of last year, and yeah, absolutely castration scene. Ugh. Lots of stuff in there. Wild stuff. Okay, number 5. Where were you when you heard the news about 9/11? I think I was in 3rd or 4th grade. In the classroom, the news was turned on, and there was just like silence throughout the entire classroom because we didn't know how to deal or what to say about such an event. Cataclysmic. I think it was a very important shift in American history, modern history, just in the way trust, again, themes of trust, of what trust means. But I just remember trust in Suburban America was very, very strange during that time. Yeah, third or fourth grade. I remember coming home also. I was trying to watch an episode of The Simpsons and I could not find it because all the news stations were just showing the Twin Towers repeatedly collapsing, and it was quite strange. Very surreal moment in history. Number 6. What is your favorite movie set in New York? Frances Ha by Noah Baumbach, starring Greta Gerwig. It's about late 20-something-year-old lady not making ends meet, losing her best friend, and sort of navigating life as, you know, that 20-something who doesn't know what to do with her life, essentially. And yeah, set in black and white, and it's just gorgeous. Any film set in New York, black and white, just, so gorgeous. Done so well. But yeah, Frances Ha, my favorite movie, one of my favorite movies. So yes, please watch it. It's my comfort watch, actually. Love Frances Ha. Number 7, have you been to New York? When was the last time you visited New York? I've been a few times, but my recent visit was actually February, this month. Spent 5 days in Brooklyn. Very nice. Stayed with a friend. Met people of the past, met people anew, and it was a fab time. Fab time. I love New York. Just, there's a pace to that city and energy, and y'all fucking spoiled, let me tell you. Y'all spoiled with all your art shows, those Chelsea galleries. Y'all spoiled. Like, I can't even get that kind of art access in Seoul. Like all that free art. Eat it up. Eat it up. 8. What is your favorite What? Who is your favorite painter from New York, or what is your favorite painting of New York? Just very recently, I read The Weight of the World by David Wojnarowicz, and will not say that I particularly like his art, but I like his artistic mind and sort of the landscape of his mind and how he creates art and where it comes from. And there's just this gorgeous empathy to the seriousness of his work and him as an artist and his life. But if I had to choose one painting, it would have to be Fire in the Belly. There's something about it that's so reminiscent of Warhol's Mao, just like the colors of it that are so contrasting yet a bit delicious in that McDonald's sign kind of way. There's just this like vibrancy to this like almost fire, this breath of David Wojnarowicz. I think he's getting some kind of revival or something. I've recently only heard of him because of Lizzie Hatfield, whose vlogs I watch, but also the books that she's read by him. There's one that I want to read this year, Close to the Knives, which is, I think, a collection of his diary entries. I just love his headspace. It's just such a beautiful place to be in. So yeah, can't wait to get my hands on that. Number 9. What is your favorite song about New York? I'm gonna cheat. I have two favorite songs. The first one's Manhattan by Blossom Dearie. She's so cute. She has this like a very mousy, quiet voice, and every time I hear Manhattan by her, it's just makes you want to take one of those very long walks. And anyone who's lived in New York, I think you know what I mean. But there are those moments where it's just like everything is so heavy on you and your life, and like you just walk you know, however many blocks, wherever you are, and yeah, you just walk until you kind of cry, and then you're just like, God, the city's so beautiful. It's one of those songs that do it for me. Another good song is Rhapsody in Blue by George Gershwin, specifically played by the New York Philharmonic, conducted by Leonard Bernstein. Very particular about who plays it, because it has to be that version, which was the opening to Woody Allen's Manhattan. But Rhapsody in Blue is just, it's New York. It's the song, the ballad, the orchestrated pledge of allegiance to New York, day and night, the vibrancy of it, the song of it, the lyricism of it. That's New York. I love listening to it whenever I'm, you know, shaded by skyscrapers, wherever I'm at. just to remind myself of the city. Oh, we're at the end. That's the end of the tag. It's time to tag some people. Number 10, let's tag some people. I want to tag Bibliosophie, who I met in New York, and that was such a lovely time. And we got to talking about books about New York, and I think she recently read Olivia Lang's The Lonely City, which is also about New York. I need to read that as well. But yes, tagging you, Sophie, because you're there. You're in New York. Also, another person who I wish I'd met when I was there, Matthew Sharapa, who I had no idea was in New York. I should have known, but yes, I would like to know, Matthew, your look on New York through books. Yes. And Yena from Modern Ajima. Love you, Yena. You've been to New York before. I would like to know your books on New York. I don't know. I think New York is so interesting because there's that question, right? The question is, what is New York? Who best represents New York? It's an impossible question because there are so many narratives within New York. There's so many places and boroughs and centric spots of cultivated culture that breathe New York. Like Woody Allen's New York is so different from Scorsese's New York. And there's just so many different faces to New York that also people who live outside of New York also have these dreams and ideas and preconceived notions of what New York is based on also the literature that we grew up with and whose New York we've absorbed. So yeah, we all got different versions of New York and I like to hear all of them. But yes, that's it. That's New York. A bit of New York for me. I love it so much. Would I ever live there? Tough call. But I like to spend extended amounts of time there. It's always such a great city. I love it to death. Expensive, but I love it to death. There's just some magic to it, truly. Okay, that's it. Thanks for being here. Be well. Do good work. Keep in touch.